Hey everyone, it's Uncle Dewan from Math Plus Coding Academy. Today, let's build a treasure hunt game. When I click the green flag, you can see a welcome screen. I can click start and then the game asks my name. It's too small of a font, but I'm typing in Uncle Dewan. And then the wizard will welcome me. Try to find a clue, click anything that doesn't fit the scene. So we can see some sprites or characters on the screen. So this is the first level. And let's try to click on them one by one. So if I click on the broom goes to a random position on the screen and says, I'm not a clue. If I click on the bear also makes a sound and says, I'm not a clue. Let's see, can we click anywhere else? Where do we think we should click? Can I click on the wizard? The wizard said, I'm just a guide, I'm not a clue. How about the tabla or the drum? That doesn't fit the scene. So if we click on the drum, then we go to the next scene. All right. So let's try to click on the fishbowl and it says I'm not a clue, and you can see that the costume changes. So the fish went away. If I click again, the fish comes back. Can there be a laptop in the castle? I don't think so. So let's click on the laptop. All right, so this is the final level. And again, the wizard says, may you find the key to success. So what do you think? What is the clue? Can I click on the cat? I don't think the cat is a sprite. I see a bell. If I click on the bell, it says I'm not a clue, and it also changes color, which is pretty nice. I see a banana. If I click on the banana, it says I'm not a clue. Oh, look, there's a key. Let's click on the key. If we click on the key, and finally you found the treasure chest. Now that you have seen this game, I think you want to build it yourself. Let's do that. Click on Create to start a new project. And we see the familiar cat. We don't need the cat in this project, so I'll click on Delete and click on Yes so that we can delete the cat sprite. Now, the way we have different levels is by using backdrop. Okay, so if I click on backdrop, you'll see there's only one backdrop here. So in the welcome screen, you can add a text. To add a text, you click on this T, and if you click here, you can actually type in. So I'll type in treasure hunt, and then I'll also write, click the start button. Then I'll write, click on hidden clues to move forward. Okay, and then you can highlight, you can change the color. So for example, you can make it red, and then you can also make it slightly bigger. So if you use these arrows, you can make it slightly bigger. Okay, and then we can also make it like this so that it's in the middle of the page. All right, so I'm moving the texts so that they look nice and they're placed in the middle of the page. Okay, so it seems that I have to make it slightly smaller. All right, this should be it. All right, so this is my first scene. Okay, and let's change the name of this backdrop. Let's change the name of this backdrop and call this welcome. Okay, so this would be our welcome screen. Now you can choose any backdrop for your level 1. Okay, so let me go here, choose a backdrop, and let's go to outdoors. All right, so I'll choose woods, this one, and change this name to level 1. All right, you're free to choose any other backdrop you want for this game. We'll need few more backdrops, so I'll again click on choose backdrop, and I'll click on castle 3, this one, and I'll call this level 2. All right, level 2. And I need one more backdrop for the final level. Okay, so let's try to find, was that a witch house? Yes, that's the witch house. So let's call this treasure room. Okay, treasure room. You can also call this level 3 or final level. All right, so this is how you can add 4 screens, 4 backdrops, or 4 levels to your game. Okay, now that we have the backdrops or the levels, we need the characters or the sprites. The first sprite we need is the button, the welcome button. So here I'll click on choose a sprite. I'll click on choose a sprite, and then I'll try to find a button. You can pick any of these buttons. I'll pick on button 2. Okay, and let me click on costume for button 2 because it should say start. So I'll click on T for text, and I'll click right here, and then I'll type in start. Okay, I'll type in start, and then I'll place it right here in the middle. I can also make it slightly bigger so that it's easier to see, and I can move it so that it's right in the middle of the screen. Okay, all right, so now you want to place the start button in a proper place, but let's do that for later. First, let's add all the sprites. Do you remember which sprites we had? Click choose a sprite, and then do you remember we had a broom? Yes, we had a broom. So let's add a broom. What did we have next? We had a bell. Yes, we had a bell. And what else? We had a drums, or a drums tabla. So let's add this one. So right now all of this will just be on the screen, but once we add the code, you'll be able to show and hide them on different levels. Okay, so first let's keep on adding all the sprites we have. Next, we have the key. So can you find the key? If you can't find a sprite, one quick way is to click on here, search, and then you can type it in, so key, and I can see the key. Okay, what else did we have? Can you remember? Someone might remember we had a fishbowl. Okay, so a fishbowl. What else? We also had a laptop. Okay, so let's try to find a laptop. We also had our helper, the guide, the wizard. So let's add the wizard. We also had a bear. Have you ever seen a bear? All right, so let's click on bear, and then finally we had a treasure chest. So if I try to find a treasure chest, you'll see that it's not there in the built-in sprites. So if you don't find a sprite, you have a couple of options. You can actually draw or paint your own sprite, or you can upload a sprite. So that's what I did. I downloaded a treasure chest icon from the internet, and I uploaded it here. Okay, so That's what you can do. So I uploaded a sprite like this, and now you have all the sprites you need. You'll see that the size of these sprites are not even. Some are too big, some are too small. You can adjust the size. So you can highlight the size here and then you can change it. Okay, so for example, the treasure chest, I can make it 25 size. The bear seems the right size. The wizard is too big, so maybe I can make it 65 or maybe even size 50. Okay, laptop, can we see the laptop? Okay, there's a laptop. Laptop seems still too big, so I can make it size 75. Fishbowl is the right size. Key, where is the key? Let's see, where is the key? So key, we don't need the key to be that big. Let's make it slightly smaller so that it's harder to find. So let's make it size 50. Okay, let's make it size 50. The drums or tabla, that's also too big. So let's actually also make it size 50. And then the bell, we can make it size 75. And the broom, we can make it size 75 as well. Okay, and the button, that seems to be the right size. All right, so now that you have added all the required backdrops and all the sprites, one important thing is to save your game. So click here, give this game a name. So I'll call it Treasure Hunt, and click on the Save Now button. All right, now let's start coding. Right now, our Scratch project looks kind of messy. There are too many sprites on the screen. So let's keep adding some codes to hide them when we first start the game. It'll take some patience, but we'll get there. So if you remember, when you play the game, the only sprite we saw is the start button. That means everything else we can hide. So let's do that. So click on the broom, then go to events. When green flag clicked, go to looks and then click on hide. Okay, so let me zoom it in so that you can see it. So when green flag clicked from events and then hide from the looks. Okay, and I'll keep doing for all the sprites except for the welcome button. So click on events and then looks, hide. Okay, I'll also show you backpack. If you haven't used backpack before, you can actually copy a block of code here in backpack. Okay, and this way, if you want to reuse it, now if I want to reuse it, you can see that you can copy it. So using backpacks, you can copy codes across sprites. Okay, so this way you don't have to create it every single time. It's a cool trick. So we're copying this code from the backpack. If you want to create it manually, you can also do that. When green flag clicked, and then go to looks, and then click on hide. All right, next is the wizard. So I'll use the code from the backpack. When green flag clicked, hide. Next comes the bear. When green flag clicked, hide. And finally, the treasure chest. So let me update the name of this sprite. So this will be treasure chest. And then same thing. When green flag clicked, hide. Okay. if I save now and if I click on the green flag, look what happens. You have the welcome screen and the start button. Okay, now you have to do some alignments. So you can see that the start button is covering some of the text. So let's click on backdrop, and now this text, let's move it up. So if you select this, you can move this up like this. Okay, next click on the start button and try to move it somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. Now you can click on code. This is the code for the start button. Okay, we want the start button to appear right here. So now if I click on save now and click the green flag, you'll see that the start button is not hiding any text. Treasure hunt, click the start button, click on hidden clues to move forward. And then if I click the start button, it doesn't do anything because we haven't added the code yet. All right, so let's add the code for the welcome screen. So click on backdrop. This time we'll actually add code to the backdrop. So this code is not for any of the sprites. So you'll see none of the sprites are selected. The backdrop is selected. So what is that code? When we click the green flag, click the green flag, we want to show this welcome screen. Okay, so click on looks and then switch backdrop to welcome. Okay, welcome or welcome screen, however you have named your backdrop. So let's see what we have named our backdrop. We have named it welcome. So when green flag clicked, switch backdrop to welcome. Okay, so click on save now and then click the green flag. All right, so nothing changes because you already see the welcome screen. Okay, now I want you to click on the button. Okay, so click on the button. So this is the button. You can change the name to start button or just button. Okay, now for the button, what we want to do is when someone clicks the green flag, you want the button to be right here. Okay, so you can see where the button is positioned. So if you move this, you'll see the button position changes. Okay, like this. So I want you to bring the button somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. And then you can see that the go to X and Y position, it changes. So bring this one right here. Okay, and then I want you to bring show. Okay, because we'll hide the button later. So that means when we start a new game, we want to show this button. Okay, so we're not adding the code for asking the name yet. We can do that later, but for now you can broadcast that you have started the game. Broadcast is used to send messages across sprites. So we'll use the broadcast block to go to different levels. Okay, so I want you to click on events and then click on broadcast, and then let's broadcast a new message. Let's call this start game. Okay, broadcast start game, and then we want to hide this button. Okay, hide this button. Okay, so for now this is the code for the button. I want you to save this and then click the green flag. Okay, so what do you think happened? So we can't see the button. We can't see the button. That means we actually need a different event. We need to be able to click the button. Okay, so let's actually go to events and bring this one. When the sprite is clicked, okay, when the sprite is clicked, and then we want this part, then you broadcast start game and then you hide. Okay, so click on save now and then click on the green flag again. So now you can see the start button. So treasure hunt, click the start button, click on the hidden clues to move forward. Okay, now if I click on the start button, you can see that the button hides but nothing happens, which is expected because we haven't added that code yet. So to add that code, you have to go back to the backdrop. You have to add to the backdrop. So if you remember, we broadcasted a message. We broadcasted a message that is start game. So click on events and then select when I receive. So when I receive start game, what happens? Then you switch to the next backdrop. So click on looks and then switch backdrop to level 1. Okay, switch backdrop to level 1. All right, now I want you to click save now and then click the green flag again. All right, so now we can see the start button. If I click the start button, now see the level changes, the backdrop changes. Now let's set up level 1. So in level 1, we have the sprites broom, the bear, the witch, and the drums tabla. So let's click on the wizard. So when you click the green flag, you don't see the wizard. That means you have hide. But when you receive start game, then you see the wizard. So let's bring events when I receive start game, then you want to see the wizard. Bring show. Okay, now click save now. This time when I click the start game, I should see the wizard. All right, treasure hunt, click the start button, click on the hidden clues to move forward, click on start, and now we see the wizard. Fantastic. Okay, but let's say I want to place the wizard in a specific area. Okay, so if click on motion, and you can see if I move the wizard, the value of go to X and Y changes. So let's say this is where I want the wizard to be. So bring the go to X and Y block to here. Okay, and then the wizard said something. Okay, so bring the looks and bring back the say. So bring it right after the show and say hello, and then let's say try to find a clue here. You can choose either the say hello for 2 seconds or just say hello. So try to find a clue here, and then let's say you can say click anything that doesn't fit the scene. Okay, oops, let me click on code. I need to zoom out a bit. If you need help with typing, you can take help from an adult. Okay, all right, so now that I have this part, click on save now and click the green flag again. So treasure hunt, click the start button, click on hidden clues, click on start, and now the wizard says hello. Click anything that doesn't fit the scene, and that's it. Okay, all right. Now let's click on the broom. Okay, let's click on the broom. So just like the wizard, we want the broom to go in a specific spot. But first I have to see the broom. So click on events, and then when I receive start game, when I receive start game, then I want to see the broom. So click on show. Okay, click on show. So this is where the broom is. So typically witches fly on the broom. Witches fly on the broom. So let's say we want to have the broom flying over here, and then that's the X and Y position. So I can bring the go to X and Y button right here. Okay, go to X and Y position right here. And then this is not a clue. So if someone clicks the broom, we want the broom to glide to some random position, do a sound, and then say I'm not a clue. Okay, so click on events, and then click on when this sprite is clicked, this one, when this sprite is clicked, and then motion, glide to random position, glide 1 second to random position. Okay, then you can choose what will be the sound you play when it's the wrong option. Okay, the wrong option. So I can search in the sound library. Okay, the sound that I chose was the low gliss tabla, this one. Okay, but you can choose a different sound. All right, so now that I have the sound, I'll go here to sound and start sound, low gliss tabla, and then under looks, say I'm not a clue. I'm not a clue. Okay, click on save now. Okay, now click the green flag. So treasure hunt, click the start button, click on start. Now I can see the wizard and the broom. Okay, so if I click the broom, see what happens. It says I'm not a clue. But also the click anything that doesn't fit scene, that's kind of blocking the scene. Okay, so let's go to the wizard. Let's go to the wizard and then bring this say for 2 seconds. Okay, I'll change this say block to say for 2 seconds. I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Okay, so let's use the say for 2 seconds because the say block is sort of blocking the screen. Okay, now I want to do the same thing for the bear. Okay, same thing for the bear. So click on the bear. So when you click this sprite, okay, so first when the green flag is clicked, you hide, and then when you receive start game, this one, when you receive start game, then you want the bear to be somewhere. So let's first bring show, click on show. So this is the bear. So it seems the bear is too big. So let's make it 80. Okay, this seems okay. Does the bear have costumes? Yes, the bear has 2 costumes. Okay, and then I want the bear to be somewhere here. Okay, so same thing, go to motion and go to X and Y, and then what happens when you click the bear? So when this sprite is clicked, that means when you click the bear, you want to switch the costume. That will happen with next costume, and then we need the sound, which is the wrong choice sound. For me, it's the low gliss tabla, but you can choose any different sound. Okay, so start sound and then say I'm not a clue. So click on looks and then say I'm not a clue. All right, so it's important that we keep making changes in small batch, and this way you don't make the whole project and then something's not working. It's difficult to troubleshoot. Okay, so we can see that the the bear, the broom, the wizard, all of these are shown, okay? But we also need the tabla. So this is the right clue. So I wanted to click on the tabla, okay? So for the tabla, again, events, when I received start game, then you want to see the tabla. So I want to bring show. So this is where the tabla is. So let's bring the tabla right here. All right, so somewhere here. And then that will be here. Go to X and Y. Okay. And what happens when you click it? So events, when this sprite is clicked, then you want to say, you found the clue. You found the clue. And let's say you want to play the wind sound. Okay. So you don't have the wind sound here. You have to search for it. And then let's do win this sound. Okay, so this will be the sound we play whenever you're clicking the right clue. Okay, sound, start sound win. And what happens when you select the right clue? That means you can actually go to the next level. So this was the first level, then we can go to the next level. So let's go to events and then do broadcast and do a new message. And this one will be level 2, broadcast level 2. What happens when you go to level 2? When you go to level 2, you see a different backdrop, right? So let's do that. So click on the stage, click on stage. Okay. And then let's bring when I receive level 2. When I receive level 2, then you switch the backdrop to, we switch the backdrop to level 2. All right, now click on save now. Click the green flag, click on start. All right, so I can click on the wizard, doesn't do anything. I can click on the broom, it moves. Bear changes costume, and then the tabla, it says you found a clue, but there are some issues here. The wizard should say that I'm not a clue, I'm just a guide, so it doesn't say that. And also this is level 2, so the broom, the bear, the tabla, they shouldn't be in level 2. So next we'll fix that. Now let's click on the wizard. So when you go to level 2, the wizard should say welcome to the castle. So let's click on events and then bring when I receive level 2, when I receive level 2, then say for 2 seconds. Let me move this to the right. Say welcome to the castle. Okay, you're not seeing the name yet because I haven't added that part yet where it asks for your name. We can do that later. So when it reaches the castle, it says welcome to the castle, and then again I can duplicate this block and says click on anything that doesn't fit the scene. Okay, click on anything that doesn't fit the scene. And also in the castle, we don't want to see the broom, the bear, or the tabla. So what you can do is click on the broom and then go to events. And when I receive level 2, then you hide this sprite. Okay. And then be sure to click save now. Then click on the bear, do the same thing, events. When I receive level 2, then you hide because you don't have a bear in the castle. So click on hide and then click on save now, and then same thing for the tabla. So say when I receive level 2, this one, and then click on hide. Okay, so So let's make sure that we have the right settings, and let's play this game. So click on start. Okay, hello. Click anything that doesn't fit the scene. Okay, so if I now click on the wizard doesn't say anything. That means we still have to add the code for the wizard. If I click on the broom, then this works. The bear, it works. The tabla, that works. Now it's the castle and you don't see the sprites from level 1. But still clicking the wizard doesn't do anything. That's because we haven't added the code. So go to events, and when this sprite is clicked, we want the sound that is the wrong choice sound, and for me this is the low gliss tabla, and then I'll bring that sound, play sound, and then I'll do say, let's say I'm just a guide, I'm not a clue. Okay, all right, so now if I click on save now, if I play the game, if I now click on the wizard, it says I'm just a guide, I'm not a clue. Okay, so this seems to work. So now we're on level 2. So what did you have on level 2? So on level 2, if you remember, we had the fishbowl, right? We had the fishbowl. So that means we need, when I receive level 2, you want to show the fishbowl. Okay, so let's bring show. All right, so here's a fishbowl for level 2, but where do you want the fishbowl? So you probably want the fishbowl in level 2 somewhere here. So let me move the fishbowl. So this is not level 2, this is still level 1, but to move the fishbowl there, we need to go to motion and then bring this, go to X and Y. Okay, and for level 2, fishbowl is not the right choice. That means I can go to events and go to when this sprite is clicked, we want to change the costume, and we also want the wrong choice sound, which is this one. Okay, so let's play the sound, start sound, low gliss tabla. This is the wrong choice sound, and also we want to say I'm not a clue. I'm not a clue. Okay, click on save now, and then let's play the game. Click on start. All right, so to save some time, I'll actually just click on the tabla, which I know is the right option, and this brings to the next level. So click on anything that doesn't fit the scene. So if I click on the fishbowl, it says I'm not a clue. Okay, so this is good so far, but we need the actual clue for this level, which is the laptop. Okay, so let's add the code for the laptop. So when I receive level 2, so events, when I receive level 2, you want the laptop to show and then be somewhere. Okay, so let's go to looks and then show. All right, so if I do that, you see the laptop and the fishbowl are the same place, so that's not good. So let's actually bring the laptop somewhere here. Okay, so then we need to use that, go to X and Y block, and then remove the other block. So what happens when you actually click this sprite? So let's say when this sprite is clicked, this is the actual clue for level 2. You say you found the clue, and then you play the sound for win. Okay, so this was our win sound. So sound and then start sound win, and then you broadcast, because now you want to change the level. So broadcast final level. This is the final level you want to broadcast. Okay, so click on save now. All right, so let's just make sure we had the same text for the tabla in the previous level. Yes, that sounds good. Okay, now you see that I keep making small changes and I play the game. I'm not building the whole game and then try to play this, but because if you make a mistake, you won't be able to go back and fix it. Okay, so click on start. So this is level 1. If I click on tabla, I go to the next level. Okay, so clicking the fishbowl doesn't do anything. It just changes the costume. It says I'm not a clue, plays the tabla sound. If I click on the laptop, then it says you found a clue, but it doesn't change the scene yet because we haven't added that code. So to do that, you have to go to the backdrop. Okay, so let's click on the backdrop. So you'll see we have these 3 blocks for three levels for starting the game, and then level 1 for start game, level 2, but we also need level 3. So let's go to events and say when I receive final level, then what do? You switch backdrop to the treasure room. Okay, you switch the backdrop to the treasure room, but that also means that you can't show the fishbowl and the laptop in the treasure room. So that means you have to click on when I receive final level. When I receive final level, you have to hide the fishbowl. Okay, so you might be getting a pattern how we show and hide these sprites based on the message. So based on this different message, we hide and show. Okay, now click on laptop, same thing. When you receive final level, so when I receive final level, then I want to hide this. Okay, and then if I click on save now and if I play, start the game, tabla for level 2. Now we're in level 2, so click laptop to go to level 3 or the final level. Awesome, so far it's working. Okay, what do we have in the final level? We have the bell, we have the key, right? We have the bell and the key. Do we have anything else? We have the bananas. Okay, so let's add the code for that. Okay, so I'll click on, did I miss the banana? Oh, it seems I never added the bananas. Okay, so let's add the bananas. Okay, so let's add the bananas. And now we'll have to add some code. So starting with events, when green flag clicked, we want to hide the banana. Okay, and go to events. When I receive final level, you want to show the banana. Okay, you want to show the banana, and then let's say you want the banana to be somewhere here. Okay, it seems the banana is too big, so let's make it 75, and let's place it right here. Okay, and this is where we want the go to X and Y. Okay, so this is the final level, and then this is not a clue. That means we need the tabla sound. So let's bring that sound, and then let's bring when this sprite is clicked. When this sprite is clicked, then looks and then say not a clue, and then sound, start sound tabla. Okay, all right, let's click on save now. All right, so let's click on start, tabla level 2, click on the laptop. Now we're in level see, we can see the banana. All right, now the wizard seems a bit small, but I guess that's okay. We still need the bell. So let's click on the bell. And now events, when I receive the final level, you want to see the bell. So click on show. But then where do we want the bell? So let's click on the bell, and let's say we want the bell to be right here. So go to X and Y, this block right here. And then what happens? This is not a clue. So you already know what we'll add. When this sprite is clicked, then you'll say, I'm not a clue. I'm not a clue. Let's fix that typo over here. I'm not a clue. And then you'll play that sound. So we'll need the tabla sound. Okay, this sound right here. And then sound, start sound. Okay, and then the clue is the key. The key is the clue. So let's add the code for the key. So when you receive the final level, then you want to show. That means click on looks and then bring show. This is the key. So let's put the key right here. Okay, so then go to motion, and then let's put this right here. But the wizard says something, right, when it reaches the final level. So actually let's finish the code for the key, and we'll go there. Okay, so what happens when you click the key, then we can go here and then change the color effect. So this changes the color of the key, and then say you found the treasure. You found the treasure, and then we'll play a sound, a different sound, different wind sound. So let's do triumph, and then let's play that sound. And then we want to say that this is game over. Now we're going to broadcast game over. Game over, okay? Game over. Okay, so now click on save now and play again. Now we're in the final level. If we click on the bell, you'll see that it says I'm not a clue, but the color doesn't change. Okay, if I click on the banana, it says I'm not a clue. So it seems the code for changing the color of the bell is not working. Okay, so click on the bell. When this sprite is clicked, okay, so we have to add the change color effect, this one. Okay, so now if I click on save now, if I click on save now, let's play the game again, start. Okay, so now we're here, and if I click on the bell, now the color changes. Now the color changes, it says I'm not a clue. Banana, it just says I'm not a clue. Okay, if you want, you can change the color of the banana as well. So this will be this, change the color effect, and then save now. If I click on the key, treasure. Oh, by mistake we changed the color of the key. So let's actually go to the key. We don't want to change the color of the key. Okay, so that should be okay. All right. So now what happens when you find, so the wizard should say something special in the final level. Okay, so let's click on events, and let's say when I receive final event, then you want to say congratulations on reaching the final level. All right, and then the wizard will also give a hint. What is the hint? The hint is, may you find the key to success. Do you see the word key is in this sentence? So that's a hint that you should look for something that looks like a key. Okay, but also when it's game over, then all of these sprites will be hidden. Okay, so when I receive game over, then you want to hide this sprite. Okay, so let's save this project, and then let's go to the bell, and then do the same thing. When I receive game over, I want to hide this. Okay, we have banana, and that's why we have to add when I receive final level, and then I have to go to here and then click on hide. And also let's see what other sprite we have. Bell, key, and let's add that to the key sprite as well. When I receive game over, so when I receive game over, then you want to hide this sprite. Okay, so let's now check. So wizard, when you receive game over, it hides. Bell, when you receive game over, it hides. Key, when you receive game over, it hides. And banana, when I receive actually this should be game over. When you receive game over, it hides. All right, so now what happens with the treasure chest? So click on treasure chest, and then let's add the code for this. So when I receive game over, then you want to show this, right? So you want to show this, and you probably want to show somewhere here. Okay, so let me bring the motion, go to X, let me zoom out a bit. Okay, and then what else do you want to do? Okay, maybe a more dramatic effect would be if you want to glide to this spot. Okay, so let's say we want to glide rather than just show here. So this will create a nice dramatic effect. Okay, and then maybe we can add a wait before we stop all. So this is where we stop everything. Now the game is over. Okay, so control stop all. Okay, so this is game over. So now let's play this game. Okay, so if I click on the green flag, treasure hunt, click the start button. The wizard says hello, click anything that doesn't fit the scene. Okay, so if you click on the wizard, it says I'm just a guide, I'm not a clue. If I click on the broom, it moves and says I'm not a clue. The bear changes costume, says I'm not a clue. And the tabla plays the wind sound and moves us to the next level. This is level 2. Again, if I click on the wizard, it says I'm just a guide, I'm not a clue. Fishbowl changes costume, says I'm not a clue. If I click on the laptop, it plays the wind sound and it moves us to the final level. The wizard says may you find the key to success. If I click on the bell, it changes color, says I'm not a clue. The banana changes color, says I'm not a clue. And then we have the key. See the treasure chest appear. Okay, and this is the end of the game. Now one final thing is when you click the start button, you can add a block that asks your name. So you can bring this, when this sprite is clicked, you can ask what's your name and wait. Now you'll type in your name and the answer will be in this right here. So you'll see that there's a block called answer. Okay, and I'll show you how you can add that to the wizard. So now go to wizard and you'll see that wherever you have this say block, I'll show you how you can join two strings, okay, to add hello and your name. So go to operators and then you'll see something called join apple and banana. Okay, join apple and banana. Okay, so let's type in hello here. And then let's add the answer here. Now let's delete this and then let's bring this block right here. Okay, so this way you'll have your name as the answer. Okay, and we can do the same thing. So let's bring join block again. And let's cut this welcome to the castle and put it in apple. And then we need a space. Same thing, be sure to add a space. So add a space. And then for the banana, you can add your answer, which is your name. Okay. And put this right here when you go to level 2. Okay. And then when you reach the final level, do the same thing. Whoops, not this one. We want the join block. And then congratulations on reaching the final level would be here. And then your name, which is in the answer. Okay, and then put this right here. All right. All right. Now let's save the project and click the green flag. Now click the start button and it will ask your name. So I'll type in Uncle Dewan and look, the wizard says, hello Uncle Dewan, click anything that doesn't fit the scene. You know, the ones that are not a clue, I'll just say I'm not a clue. If you click the tabla, we'll go to level 2. This is the castle. And then the laptop is the clue for level 2. And now we're in the final level and you see the wizard says my name. Click on the bell, click on the banana, they are not clue, but if I click on the key. So that was the treasure hunt project in Scratch. Hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and I'll see you on the next video.